Hey, Tracy Reuter with Divine Social. We're a Facebook and Instagram ad agency. And today I want to tell you a story about why it is that we do what we do and why Divine Social even exists. There's so many stories I can tell you, but the one that I really want to share with you today is the story about my uncle. You see, when I was little, like really little, my uncle married my aunt so he wouldn't be deported. This is a long time ago, and they ended up being married for a very long time. But he was a Greek immigrant and came to this country really not knowing the language, not knowing anything, and started working in his uncle's pizza shop up in Maine. I'm originally from New England, and so I was probably 3 or 4 years old at the time and got to hang out in the pizza shop and do some pretty cool things. Well, fast forward a few more years, probably I think I might have been 6, 7 years old, and I remember my uncle taking my grandfather and I to this strip mall and opening up the door, and inside of this strip mall it was just complete chaos in construction. But what I didn't know and I didn't understand right away is that this was going to be his new pizza shop. No longer was he going to be working for his uncle, but he was going to have a business of his own. He'd been learning the business, saving his money, doing everything he needed so he could start off and have basically the American dream. And so that day, he walked my grandfather and I through this messy construction site, showing us where the booths would be and where the ovens would be. And he just walked us through and painted a vision of what this was going to look like. Well, if you fast forward, he went on to build an amazingly successful pizza restaurant in Cape Cod in Massachusetts. And I spent a lot of summers as a kid working in that pizza shop. And it was very, very popular, and it was quite an experience. One that I just didn't really even understand how it was impacting me and how it would impact me growing up. Then, when I was somewhere around 12 years old, my uncle had sold the pizza shop to another uncle, and he had bought the plaza that the pizza shop was in, and I knew that. But then he took my grandfather and I to this piece of land that was basically wooded with a little bit of areas that had been cleared out. And what had been cleared out were all the stakes that he had planted for where the buildings were going to go. And that day, my uncle walked us to this property and he showed us, this building's going to go there and that building's going to go there. And he told us of everything that he had planned and the things that he was going to do and how he was going to bring in a post office and a movie theater and on and on and on. Well, today that is known as the Golden Triangle. It's just part of Cape Cod in Massachusetts that my uncle has gone on to become the biggest commercial developer in his town. And the reason I tell you that story today is because I watched this man and I learned from a really early age through actual tangible experience what can happen when an entrepreneur has an idea. So he was an entrepreneur with a dream who had a vision, and he was a hard worker. He still is a hard worker. I don't think he will ever quit. But he showed me with actual demonstration, right? It wasn't just talk, he did it. He put his dreams and visions into action, and he shared them with my grandfather and I, and he would take time to cast the vision so that we could then have an idea of what he was doing, and then all of a sudden, poof, there it was before our eyes. Now, the reason that's so special to me is because my family was a very working class family. My mom worked in a factory, my dad left when I was really young, and I didn't really have much of a vision for my life until I started to really pay attention to my uncle. And looking back many years later, I always wondered, why did I get this love for business? Where did this passion for entrepreneurism come into play? Because no one, not a single member of my family has it. Nobody. Not a single person. Everybody has had stable jobs, they worked, they retired, that was it. And I have taken a different route, right? If you're watching this video, you've probably taken a different route. But I came to realize that part of my passion for entrepreneurism and business and strategy and marketing all stems from that amazing uncle of mine who taught me early on what casting a vision and putting hard work into reality looks like. It's an absolutely incredible story. The other thing is I would not have had an education. I went to work in the family business straight out of college, and it just really taught me so many valuable lessons. And so I tell you that story because today I do what I do. My company, Divine Social, we serve businesses because I understand that when you have a dream, when you have a vision, and you want to take your hard work and amplify it, you need somebody like us that can help you. And so that's kind of really where when I started to unpack it, in fact, I was working with a business coach, and it was working on understanding your origin story that really I remembered all these things, and it was incredibly, incredibly powerful. And so it's where my passion comes for serving businesses. It's where I know that if I can help an entrepreneur, if I can help you the way my uncle had help along the way in a variety of ways. There was no internet back then, right? That not only will me helping you impact you, it will impact your clients and your customers and your family and your children and your grandchildren and your community and on and on and on. Because really, what my uncle did changed the course of my life and my cousins' lives and my cousins' children's lives, and it's just been absolutely amazing, including the community that I lives in. He's done so much for that community. So I wanted to share that story, but the biggest reason I wanted to share that story is I wanted to ask you, what stories do you have that you should be telling? And you might be thinking that you have stories, but how does it really relate? I never would have ever thought that telling you about my immigrant uncle from Greece and his story of working in his uncle's pizza shop and me going into that pizza shop while it was under construction, and then the plazas while they were under construction, what would that have anything to do with Facebook advertising? Really, on the surface, it has absolutely nothing to do with Facebook advertising. But in reality, it has everything to do. It has everything to do with Facebook advertising, because I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if it wasn't for that story. And so I want to encourage you today to start thinking about the stories that you can share that you might on the surface think are irrelevant, but your prospects and clients really, really want to know about it. Because I'm telling you, when you can connect to their heart and you understand, and they can understand you, it can make something so powerful. I know every time I've told that story to somebody who is an entrepreneur or who has a dream and a vision in their heart, not only can they see themselves in my uncle's shoes, but then they totally understand where my heart is coming from as a business owner wanting to serve other business owners. They get it, right? They totally get that. And I hope you got that too, because it's really powerful. And it's something that I would have never ever connected the dots until I worked with a business coach who helped me understand that telling stories is really, really important. So think about, what are some of the stories that you have? Because trust me, I have a ton more. But what are some of the stories that you have that you could start sharing that would help people understand why you do what you do and why you can serve them better than anybody else? You see, I feel like as a business, Divine Social, our company, we can serve you, we can serve entrepreneurs better than most people can. Not just because that we're really great at Facebook ads or we're really good at understanding Instagram ads, but because we understand. I was raised since I was a little girl to see businesses and entrepreneurism, and I have so many other reasons why I believe we are more suited to serve you than so many other people out there. So tell your story so that you can tell your prospects why you are the best person to serve them. You'll be blown away. You can use this in your ads. You can use this as part of your 3-pillar approach. If you haven't yet downloaded our 3 Pillars Guide to Successful Social Ads, make sure you do that. There's a link below this, and you can understand where your stories are going to fit in. The 3 pillars are your audience building, your engagement, and then your conversions. Telling an origin story like the one I just told you is a perfect thing to share in your engagement content. It's a perfect way to get people to build that know, like, and trust factor so that eventually they will remember you when it's time to do business. So I hope this was helpful today. I would love to hear your feedback or your comments. If you've got a story that you want to tell or you've created a video, please share it in the link below or in the comments below, because I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you think about this, if this really touched you in some kind of way. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do that right now, because we put a new video like this out every single Tuesday and sometimes more often. So my name is Tracy Reuter, the founder and CEO of Divine Social. Get out there and tell your story, because somebody needs to hear it.